In this LEGO City update, I'll be building a shed for my LEGO trains, so stick around. Since this is a train layout, I feel that I need to work on this area of the railroad. Right now, it's basically just a parking space for a train, which isn't a bad thing, but I really want an engine shed or a depot for my trains, and that's for maintenance and for looking cool in my layout. This also happens to be an industrial zone, so the shed will look a bit like a factory. But I also have another inspiration for the build, and that is the old Roman aqueducts. I've been fascinated by them since childhood, and it would have been great to have one in my layout. Maybe I can figure out a place for it in the future, so make sure to subscribe. But for now, the distinctive look with the arches will be the key design for my shed. I also need a rolling garage door, so that's totally going to happen. I want the mechanics to be able to work underneath the engines and rolling stock, so the shed will have to be raised from the base plate. This yellow build will be the room that is sunk down into the floor. The base around it is in light gray with an open space where the sunken room is. You just can't go wrong with light gray. A problem is that the sleepers for LEGO's normal railway track will cover the sunken room, but luckily there are alternatives. This rail, for instance. To align them with the regular track, I'm using jumpers, so there's as little of a gap as possible between the track sections. We don't want the trains to derail in here, do we? I'm now putting in the inner frame for the shed, still in light gray that I just happen to have glued pieces in, so that I can put in the rolling garage door. Let's for good fun roll that door up and down. Well, that's a bit unstable. I'll keep the backside open for easy access, but the front side will have the larger windows. I want to be able to peek inside of the shed and look at my fine locomotives. I pre-assembled the whole arch wall, a black base so it looks a bit smart, and the top is in this warm yellow-orange color that really pops. Wonderful! The rest of the inner structure has the lovely industrial look to it. I made a side roof with minifig plates. This also looks a bit like old medieval churches that has these sidewalls as supports for the main building. Let's put in some ventilation units on the side. I'm a fan of those. On this side there's a wooden extension for the shed and a large window to let in more light. That kind of reminds me of a train tunnel with an arch like so. On top there's this large roof, and it has a skylight to break up the shape. And to break up that shape even more, here's a little small housing for some more ventilation, and another unit over on this side of the skylight with some ducting. But hey, this is not the end of the build. Let's pimp the interior with a workbench for the coffee maker and the boombox, a dustbin for the trash, a lathe to fix busted wheels, so fancy, a stationary drill press in this fantastic green color. We need a platform so they can work on the engines a bit higher up. And back here there's a vise. LEGO is my vise. Looks good. Here's an engine that needs to be repaired. The worker is excited. Well, she survived since she has a safety helmet on. Here are two more hard workers. Hard coffee drinkers at least. Let's pop the building into its place. I'm going to raise the railway tracks in the future, but for now this will have to be attached with a makeshift rail slope and a temporary staircase until I work more on the industrial zone. Would you have a look at that? Looks rather smart, to be honest. With that said, stay out of the nonsense, stay awesome. Please subscribe and watch out for the garage door.